flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Batistik.
Here.
Dr. Bush.
Here.
Mrs. Tata. Here. Mrs. Mancini. Here. Reverend McCurd.
Here.
Mr. Murdoch.
Here.
Mr. Penninger.
Here.
Okay. Have anyone for public comment?
I didn't get anything.
Nothing? Okay. Before we formally start the meeting today, I would like to thank everyone, all the voters and the constituents who went out and voted on the school board election. Thank you for passing the budget and the propositions. And I'm very grateful, as well as my colleagues, Dr. Reverend McCurd and Deanna, to thank Lori Shell and Dr. Colucciello and all the people that counted and counted and counted. It was a monumental task, and I'm sure you're happy it's over with, and the three of us are happy it's over with an excellent ending. So thank you very much for that. At this time, we have a special proclamation that we would like to honor Dr. Colucciello. So if you stand up, or we will stay 6 feet away from you. And Curtis and I would like to read the proclamation so that when you leave us, you never forget.
Thank you. That means don't throw it away on the way home, okay?
I couldn't forget.
Okay, the proclamation honoring the service of Dr. Raymond Colucciello to the Greater Amsterdam School District. Whereas Dr. Raymond Colucciello has served as interim superintendent of schools in the Greater Amsterdam School District since April 1st, 2019. And
whereas Dr. Colucciello received a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education from SUNY Oneonta, a Master of Arts degree in elementary education from Teachers College at Columbia University, and a Doctor of Education degree from SUNY Albany. And whereas Dr. Colucciello is a regionally renowned for his administrative and leadership acumen, having served as the superintendent of schools for Fonda Fultonville Central School District, City School District of Albany, Boston Spa School District, and Schenectady City School District. He has also served as the interim superintendent of schools for Schoharie Central School District, Troy City School District, Voorhees Central School District, Fonda Fultonville Central School District, Middleburg Central School District, and Greater Amsterdam School District. And
whereas, foremost among his many accomplishments, Dr. Colucciello has successfully led the Greater Amsterdam School District through the greater challenge of the 2020 COVID pandemic, and whereas Dr. Colucciello has provided excellent leadership and service to the Greater Amsterdam School District, and made a number of significant contributions that have been felt at all levels of the district, including developing the alternate education program, implementing the middle school task force, studying and implementing the redistricting plan, and bringing together the members of the secretarial, clerical, teacher aides, and the custodial maintenance unions to agree with the district on their contracts. And
whereas Dr. Colucciello has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to all of the district students, faculty, and staff, and focused on community outreach to enable all voices to be heard. And whereas Dr. Colucciello has earned the respect and, more importantly, the admiration of his students, colleagues, and the community members in the Greater Amsterdam School District for his enthusiasm, compassion, professionalism, collegiality, and extra hours and hard work. Now, therefore, be it
proclaimed by the Greater Amsterdam School District Board of Education, the 17th day of June, 2020, the Board of Education takes great pleasure in recognizing the significant professional achievements of Dr. Raymond Colucciello, and herewith expresses its sincere gratitude for the invaluable contributions he has made to the Greater Amsterdam School District. I present this to you so you don't forget us. Would you like to say a few words?
Just a couple. Talking to Lori today, we both agreed, I think I've been here forever. I don't remember not being here. And I am going to miss you folks. I tell everybody, since I started here, Amsterdam's a great place to work, because it's got great people. The other thing that this shows is I can't hold a job. I can't stay one place very long, but I will miss you folks. And you're on the road, and you've got a great choice of Richard Purdy. He'll do great things for you. But it's been a good run. I'm going to miss working with, because the board, the administrators, the students, I would leave through this yearbook. What a great group of kids. So parents got to be proud of it. So thank you. This is more than I deserve. Thank you.
I don't think so. I think you deserve every bit of it. Okay, we have some house cleaning to do. We have to have another meeting on June the 22nd. Is that correct?
Do you want to do the resolution for
Right,
the
that first?
affirmation?
Okay, there's a resolution in the packet.
567.
567.
Yes, could I have a sponsor for resolution 567?
I would like to sponsor that.
Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Ms. Tata?
Yes.
Mrs. Vancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Pettinger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes. Now can we go on to the, all right. We have to have another meeting on June the 22nd. Colleen, would you like to explain why we need to do that?
Do you have it as the 22nd or the 23rd?
I had-
23rd.
All right, 23.
Okay,
Is that
yeah,
a
I
Wednesday?
think that's
That's
a
a
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
No,
That's a
it's a
Tuesday.
it's on a Tuesday,
So the 23rd is on a Tuesday?
correct,
Okay.
correct. And the reason we need to have the, typically at this board meeting, so typically at this board meeting, you know, in a normal election school budget year, we would be presenting the tax rolls for approval by the board. Obviously, we couldn't do that because the budget just passed this morning, essentially. So we are in the preparation of getting the tax rolls and the assessments from the cities. We should have those done and ready from the relevant parties by the 19th or the 21st or 22nd at the latest, which is why I wanted the 23rd. And at that time, we'll present the tax rolls for approval.
Okay, so you want it on the 23rd
Correct,
at 6 o'clock.
correct,
It can be done here.
correct. Or we can do it virtually. It's a simple proclamation.
Okay. Is it the pleasure of the board to do it virtually?
Sure.
It's just one item,
It's
right?
just one item, correct.
Okay, you can do it virtually then.
Because we can't mail our bills out until we get that
Did
approved.
you put this one in?
What's that?
That's
Is
our
that
question.
West? Is that?
Yeah.
West.
Yes.
Okay, and the other thing we have to decide on is the reorganizational meeting date. Now, last year we did it July 1st. This year, July 1st is on a Wednesday, or you may have July 2nd, which is on a Thursday. Do you have a preference?
Wednesday?
Wednesday is the 1st, July 1st. July 1st? Oh, we'll be consistent with the Wednesday. Okay, Lauren, we'll do July 1. 6 o'clock. Now, last year we did it at the middle school. Can we do it here?
They were cleaning or something here.
Something
It's
here,
electricity, and there was no electricity here.
So we can do it here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Wednesday, July 1.
We do it at middle school anyways, it's under.
All right, under board communications, I have received a big packet from Hodgkin and Russ. And this is informing the school district and Dr. Pucciello and myself. The Montgomery County Industrial Development Agency, Edward Pigliavento Jr. and Michael Pigliavento Rental Partnership Project. They are going to be executing a project that has to do with the mixing of vitamins, whatever, in the 5S corridor. And they have sent a copy of a payment in lieu of tax agreement by and between Montgomery County Industrial Development Agency and between Edward Pigliavento Jr. and Michael Pigliavento Rental Partnership. They are informing us of their intent to request a pilot in lieu of taxes. Do we have to go along with this? Because we talked about this before as a board, because when this happens, they're taking money from
We actually
school
had
districts.
a board member did vote against the last one that was brought up.
Is this,
So
are they
the
on
cost-
a lease? It sounds like they're leasing it, not, they don't own the building? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I think they're putting the building up, aren't they?
I don't
Have you
think they-
gone down that corridor?
I don't know, it's hard to gauge because I don't have it.
I think they're picking up the-
They're building a new building.
Right.
So they're building,
Okay, I don't think they give you pilots for leases.
I don't know
okay,
if
well,
we have
that's
to
where
do
I was
this, but
confused there.
I'm informing the board that I got a copy of this because they're looking for in lieu of taxes now.
So Lori, did we get an official request from them or from the county? Or is this just,
Sorry, I was.
okay, it's about the pilot program that's taking place for that vitamin company up on 5S.
I don't have to.
We have not, again, I would also ask Mr. Isaac to weigh in on pilot. We can do nothing, which typically boards do nothing. We can go up and register our opposition, which is possible. Again, it's on the board's decision, but that's, usually you'll get your money, but you'll get it in lieu of tax, but you'll still get a pilot, which is for a certain number of years. And then when that is extinguished, then obviously a lot of these companies still want to reduce their taxes. Pilot is payment in lieu of taxes. We do receive those now, but typically they're out, most of the businesses are out there to reduce their taxes. In the initial stages, depends on how long the pilot is for, you'll get your amount of money you would have gotten by taxes. It usually ends up in a reduction over the years because that's what they're looking at. Colleen, we have some pilots now.
We do have pilots. The effect of pilots is that it does not go into a school's taxable base. So essentially, anybody that's sitting out there as your taxable base, it makes other taxpayers as their base, it lowers it. So if VITA was on a regular tax roll, your tax base would be increasing. Pilots typically, like Dr. Colucci's LO said, 5-10 years, but typically by the end of that pilot, most of the companies usually renegotiate for a lower assessed value. Pilots start as a higher assessed value, but when they come off the pilot, their property gets lower assessed value.
You will get your tax
You'll get-
dollars during the pilot period.
It's a payment, right?
So is
Payment
Target,
in lieu of tax.
Correct.
is Target in our district or no?
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
how much should we get back after they went off their pilot?
So what originally, when they were assessed at, their assessment was at, let's say, $1 million. When they came off the tax rolls, they used their full assessment value. They assessed it at 60% for us when they went on the tax rolls. So we got lower taxes. That was one of our hits this year and next year. From the
Initially,
pilots.
you won't get a hurt during the pilot,
Mhm.
during the pilot. It's just
The
5-year pilot, 6-year pilot. When Global Foundries came to Boston Spa, it was the pilot, the state was paying in lieu of taxes to the district, $8 million a year. After that, then typically, the company will come in and want a reduction of, as Colleen said, 60%.
Right.
But during that time, pilot periods, whether it's 5 or 10 periods, there's no harm, no foul to the district.
So, Holland Apartments, I believe, they requested of us, is that right, Mr. Misick?
I'm sorry?
Holland Apartments, I don't know what the new ownership is, up there on the corner of 67 and Thisbe. Weren't they they requested a pilot, but,
I don't recall receiving an agreement.
no. Is that on there, Colleen?
We don't have them on ours.
No,
No.
I don't recall
Okay.
that.
The new hotel that's over on the south side is a pilot agreement.
And is that it? Do we have any others?
We have a couple of pilots.
Like did we put any of those, solar farms on a pilot?
We have solar exempt. We exempted from the solar,
Yeah, but I'm saying, did any of them request a pilot from us?
stuff that I'm aware.
Who were the other two then that you're thinking of?
Well, Target was one of them.
Beach Nut.
Beach Nut was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's, sometimes those pilots are like 20 to 30 years, not 5 to 10.
Target was 10.
Pilot, was it, how about Beach Nut, do you know?
10.
I think they were 10 too, yeah.
I believe they're 10. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And Dr. Palucciello has one about a solar farm.
Right. Again, there is some opposition for the solar in this region, primarily for aesthetics purposes. I've seen some, but I haven't seen any other opposition with respect to school districts opposing pilots for.
We exempted from them a couple years ago, which was a recommendation. Yes.
Okay.
Well, one question. So did you receive a request from a solar farm?
Yes, we sent you that in that packet. I think it's a new name. What's the name?
There was two of those.
Two of those in the
letters
packet.
from, yeah.
In the
I give them to the
update, there was
original.
an item in the update.
Okay.
Okay. Dr. Palucciello.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this. I'm very helpful, right? Community support of its schools. You saw it in this vote. Not only did they show you in the vote community support for your school, but for you as board. People tell you what they feel about you in the vote booth. And I think you've got to be really proud of what they said in this vote. They've supported incumbents, and they've overwhelmingly, 2.5 to 1, supported our budget. To that, I want to thank Colleen for her first budget. She did a great job on it. It was not an easy one. The COVID budget was tougher than one. I do want to thank Lori, exceptional work on this vote. It was not easy. She worked the weekends. She came around looking for votes on weekends. There wasn't anything missed. There are some things we would have done differently, but we didn't know 3,000 people were going to be voting. But I do think she did an exceptional job. You're lucky to have her as your clerk, but especially times like this. So, great, thank you.
I had a lot of help. I had a lot of very, very good help. I couldn't have done it without Colleen and without Eric McClary and then all the girls that helped. Believe me, I did not do this alone.
I counted 12 people, but I could see.
There were 12 then plus, 12 sets of, or a set of 12 girls that were mainly counted. And we had a lot of help.
Lori has a couple of other great ideas on streamlining your election.
I'm not going to say this now because then Colleen will have a heart attack.
You look at the vote for registration by the public. We've got a registration now, which we didn't have before. I do think her idea of reducing polling places is really critical. She's going to be working with your lawyer to do that. There's a couple of other ideas to make this less cumbersome and less expensive. Every time you put another site, you've got another, I think she's got ideas on the poll inspectors. I think, and we're going to share them with Mr. Roberti. He comes. But I do think she started on the road to making these elections smoother. And that's you don't need 4 or 5 voting places. Not in the size 5.5 miles across this town. You got to put them where it's easier to get to. And I think that'll help you a lot, especially with this new registration. But she'll do a good job in helping with that. If you haven't gotten the yearbook, you should really get it. Look at it. It's one of the best I've seen. The kids didn't get graduation. They got a great yearbook. You have it in front of you. It's exceptional because of the photography and the number of times kids' pictures are in here. There's a section in here, though, that points out 4 teachers that have given their career to this district. I just want to go through quickly. They've given 126 years of service. Greater Amsterdam School District for the most part. Christopher Crosby, a math teacher, has done coaching, mentoring, and he's given you 34 years in service. Amy Laverio, who's given you 29 years. She's done a great job in English. She mentors, she coaches. Mr. William Nelson, you know, I can't say enough about her number 65, Lace, an English teacher. Again, 29 years for Laverio, 29 years for Nelson. Mr. Michael Perry, 34 years in band. These are institutions for people that are dedicated to the yearbook, well deserved. A lot of them talk about travel and what they're going to do from here. And many of you know these people personally, but they're special and they've done special work for you. Fortunate to have those 4 people, and the kids have recognized them. We've returned to the buildings Tuesday. We've done it safely. And you'll see us working in buildings like this. We still, if we're 6 feet apart, are masked. We have masks. We put all of the right kinds of equipment that we need there. Sanitizers. We are double cleaning bathrooms in all of our buildings. They are not open to the public at this point, but our workers are there. You've got 2 more meetings that one is on the 23rd, which tax one, it won't take long. And then you've picked your organizational meeting, and Mr. Roberti and I will go through it. He's going to be here next week. We've already scheduled them for 3 mornings. Be working with bargaining units and meeting with different individuals. That concludes my report. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to administrative staff reports. Colleen, is there anything you'd like to tell us?
No, well, I'm just, I want to thank everybody for all the support during the budget process. It was a long and hard one, but I appreciate everybody's support and being there for everybody. And I think, as you mentioned, the voters really came out in strong numbers, and which is wonderful, because I was personally myself, I did not want to see the sports or anything go for the kids. So it was great to see that happen. For the first time, it was quite a big experience, but I do appreciate everybody's support. As we mentioned, we talked about the taxes. The one thing we may have to consider is, because typically our first tax collection period is July 31st, that we receive our first round of payments. But because the tax bills are going to be going out late this year, you have to give the taxpayers 30 days time to pay. We may have to ask for a 2 to 3 week extension on that collection period in order to get the taxpayers time to pay the bills, because the bills will not be out by July 1st. We're going to try, but I mean, that would be a miracle if it did happen. So we may have to request an extension, and if we do, obviously we'll be posting it in the papers and making sure we let everybody know.
You're not going to mail them from the same post office that the ballots were mailed from, right?
Is that the,
And yes,
Lori, do we want to talk about that? No, it was, no, we're not good, no. So there are some early indications, though, also from state aid, that they are starting to hold some of aid payments from districts. Rather than doing their April 30th budget cut, I think what they're now doing is holding aid payments from districts. We're working on different avenues to try to see where that's going to impact us, but I do know at the minimum, we are not, right now, our excess cost aid, which we normally get in June, has been withheld from not only us, from a number of districts. And we also are being withheld on our Excel aid, which is causing an issue with our building aid. So we're working on that and I'm trying to look at another alternative for that final cost report that we just submitted to get early aid start. Because typically by December, we would see about $5 million in aid. But because of the Excel funding, they're withholding that right now. So I'm going to try to author an alternative called early aid start. And I'll try to submit that by next week. So there's going to be a little bit repercussions. We're monitoring everything, but I just wanted to give everybody a heads up.
So there's nothing yet from the state to the school districts regarding any kind of aid?
Just from state aid saying that they've been told by Division of Budget not to release the funding.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Okay, out of curiosity, as far as our costs to do the mailing campaigns in comparison to what it is to set up all polling sites, do we have any idea of where that stands?
We were talking.
Well, yeah, with the all absentee ballot, that was
So that's
that was
higher,
just-
probably.
Yeah, I mean,
52,000.
Yeah.
Cost us
How much?
52,000 in comparison to about 6,000 on a typical year.
Wow,
Wow.
okay, so substantially higher.
Let me ask you a question on that 52,000. So stamps alone, if you send out 14,000, will be $7,000, correct?
So the process,
Probably even better because we're getting a break because of the number of mailings we're putting out. And then the return stamps that we're actually, what we do is we only pay for those that are coming back. And you receive, what, 3,000 and something? So that's around 1,500. So that's,
we actually received more than that because there were a lot that came back undeliverable.
Correct.
So I didn't actually count those, but I mean, got a couple trays of undeliverable. Return to sender, or, various, so, and we paid for those because they went, right, because they went through the post office. And then
so don't we pay going out and then they return it for free if we send it out, or do we have to pay? So then we're not paying 50 cents per envelope then?
this is for ply mail. Every one of the ballots that came back, returned or unmailable, costs us 80 cents a piece.
80 cents
80 cents a piece.
to mail it back.
To mail it back.
So regardless of whether it was returned to sender
Correct.
or somebody actually mailed it back, it was the same.
And then there was the postcards too.
Then we had to mail.
We had
Right.
to mail out those postcards too.
Okay,
And
but
those
don't,
went out
do
to
we
the
send out postcards prior to the regular ballot though? So we can't factor that in on.
Well, but it was
the
part
comparison.
of what was required by the governor's executive order, so I think you can.
Okay, but do we send out a postcard like that normally?
No.
No,
So 14,000 postcards.
No more than that, because they went, I'm not sure where they got all their addresses for that, but they reached out farther than our poll lists.
So how many years back did you go on the poll list? Was it more than
I think they
2 or
went back
3 cycles?
four.
You went
They
back four cycles. So that's why we got so many back that
The
said
mobility.
address unknown, correct?
Probably.
4 years.
What did the state require us to go back?
I think they said
I don't
three.
think they really would say.
So there's no direction from them?
Well, yeah, I think that's where it came from. I don't know, yeah, well, that was what the attorney said, was to go back 3 to 4 years.
Okay, and so, so probably, are you saying about in stamps, maybe 2,800 plus? So what are you thinking, about 8,000
So
out
the
of the
service-
52,000?
So the service from NTS is when we used our ballots.
Right,
So they did the ballots, the postcards, the printing, the purchase of the envelopes, everything. That was about $39,000.
But part of that,
Yeah.
because normally NTS, we contract with them for our poll books. Which
correct,
obviously, we didn't get poll books this year.
right.
So for a majority of the stamps where we had to pay NTS for it, it was sort of in lieu of what we normally contract with them, the cost of the poll books and the services that they normally provide for us, for our election.
If God forbid this ever happens again, you guys get Tantrons?
It better not happen again.
So,
I'm just
that would
wondering.
be, I would be interested in finding out if we could get our own
Your sanity.
things like that. Yeah, that would be, that's a thought.
No different than our normal ballot.
Well, it would be interesting if we had our own voting machines. But,
Well, I mean, under the agreement we have with the county, where it's a lease type arrangement, isn't it, when they come in?
I have to look back. I don't think they charge us to use the machines. They print our ballots.
Right,
And we pay for those. I think they might charge like a delivery charge for the machine. But I don't think we actually have a fee to use the machines. I'd have to check it, like last year's billing from them. I don't know off the top of my head.
okay. Because, I mean, heaven forbid, if something like this happens again, I agree with Ms. Mancini, we should go in really prepared this time, because the printer, no matter what you put on the paper, the printer could logically put like a Scantron printing on, And then we could just, instead of paying, you have the people today also, I was told, right? So,
Their work schedule today.
Right,
oh, it's a regular work schedule for the employees?
Yeah.
except for the one person, Erica Kuber, who's one of our county election inspectors who we had for this. So today she would have gotten paid because she's not an employee.
Okay. Well, that worked out, man.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Sandra, do you have anything for us?
Yes, I'm going to talk about summer school and summer enrichment. So starting with elementary schools, we have elementary enrichment for grades 2 through 5. There's approximately 80 students who have registered. It's going to be 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it starts on July 6th and it ends on July 17th. And the focus is going to be on ELA and math instruction. Going to the middle school, we have a credit recovery that starts July 6th and ends on July 31st. It's going to be 2 hours a day, 4 days per week. Students in grades 6 to 8 who failed 3 courses or more. And there's going to be approximately 15 to 20 students per grade level attending the credit recovery. Then we have also continuing with the Lynch Middle School Accelerated Bridge Program. That's going to happen on July 20th to July 31st. It's 2 hours a day, 4 days per week, and it's for students in grades 6 through 7 who are entering an accelerated program next year. So it'd either be in science, social studies, math, or English. We're hoping to get about 40 to 50 students per course. And they're going to be working on prerequisite skills to get students ready for the accelerated courses offered in the fall. Lastly, at Lynch, we have an enrichment program that's going to go from July 6th to July 31st. It's going to be 2 hours a day, 4 days per week. It's for students who want to continue virtual learning through the month of July, and it's going to be focusing on mastering priority standards in ELA and math, and we're hoping to get around approximately 90 students, so 30 students per grade level. Going to the high school, we have an Apex Credit Recovery Program. That's going to happen from July 13th to August 7th. It's going to be 2 days per week for 4 weeks, 3 hours per day. It's students who basically failed 1 quarter and need to recover that 1 quarter. And guidance right now is currently working on a list of students who are qualified for this program. And lastly, at the high school, we have summer school, but that's going to be through HFM BoCs. That starts July 13th and ends August 13th. The program is going to run Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12. It's students can take up to 3 courses for credit recovery, and it's for students who need more intensive intervention and remediation. And again, guidance is currently working on a list of students who qualify for the BoCe summer school program, and that ends our summer school. All this is going to be.
Excuse me 1 second. And where will that be held at this year?
It's remote learning. It's all remote.
Oh,
It's
so
online.
it'll be all remote?
Yeah, all regular summer school is going to be online learning this year, absolutely. And then also I want to talk about summer professional development. We are in initial stages of planning for summer professional development. I've been meeting with the professional development committee, surveying the teachers, asking them what the professional development needs are for the summer. Most teachers responded that they needed PD on technology, remote learning, strategies for closing the academic gap due to COVID-19, social emotional learning, supporting students, providing coping skills with COVID-19, and supporting teaching and health students. Last year, we had a lot of PD last year, but this year, we had about $200,000 budgeted in PD last year. This year is probably going to be at least half of that, probably around $100,000. So I'm meeting with the PD committee again tomorrow morning to discuss priorities and basically letting them know that we're not going to have as much PD as we did have last year, but we are going to be offering PD. And that concludes professional development. That's it.
How are you going to monitor students who
So-
are participating if it's done, everything is done on the computer?
So for what? For students?
Yeah,
That's going to be the teacher's responsibility to make sure that that students are participating.
geez, microphone, because I can't hear.
It's going to be the teachers that are going to be making sure that the students participate online. So they're going to be the ones making those phone calls, making sure that those kids are participating, and making sure that they're online. So that's part of their job for the summer. They really need to reach out to those students.
So we have a resolution for summer school at the middle school.
Yeah.
So those 2 principals
Yes,
are going to be
we have,
monitoring participation
Yep.
of the students.
including the teachers. Yep, they're all going to be on top of that. Yep.
So these students have Chromebooks or whatever.
Yep,
device
yep, they have their
belongs to the school
Chromebooks,
district?
they're not gonna be returning their Chromebooks, so if they know they're participating in summer school, they're not until the end of summer school.
How are you doing getting back the other Chromebooks that are out there?
So we did talk about it today. The initial was a little slow getting them back, but it's getting better every single day. Parents are calling, letting us know that they can't come at certain days and come later, so building principals have been making arrangements to make
We're
sure.
about halfway there.
Yeah, we just talked about that today.
But we are gonna let them know something. We're gonna let them know that on a certain date, our Chromebooks will all be turned off, and they'll not be able to use them again.
We have the ability to do that then?
Yes,
There are books.
Eric Idle has the ability to do that. He can.
We have the ability and the authority.
Yep.
So you can keep them, but they're paperweights.
Do they have to connect to the internet to be able to?
We can turn off our equipment so that it's not usable.
It's pretty much more than that on a Chromebook.
No, it's one.
Right.
Yeah.
So again,
Okay.
we are having, at the elementary, they're coming in fast. Secondary, they're not. But it's not unusual if you give a piece of equipment out and you're still paying for all the services for it, and they're not using it for schooling, then we are going to let them know ahead of time. Please return it. They get turned off on such and such a date, and you can't reactivate them.
I'm wondering if we can offer an incentive on the other side.
Well, we thought about it,
Penalizing.
but, again, some of these people are leaving our district.
Right.
We don't have a right to give away public funds. I mean, we can't give you a gift.
Yeah.
It's public funds, it's for us taxpayers. They paid
They'll
for this.
respond nicer.
What state ed say about not forwarding records until all
That you
payments?
can't do. I've tried to stop report cards, I got a call. They've earned that credit. You can't stop it, you can't take it away from them. So if the library, you can't charge the library for, we used to say, you can't get your diploma without the library book. It's a free and public education.
No qualifier on the word free.
And FAPE, they keep reminding me, a free and public education.
So how many do we have out there then, right now? Are we looking at 2,000 still
No.
need to be returned to us?
Now, Eric, are you on? Is
You
Eric?
heard 120, couple hundred, maybe altogether, maybe 3. We gave away 1,900, and
Yeah.
maybe we've got, I'm just gonna really guess, 400 still out, or
I
500.
think we were talking to Tyrone today, and it's mostly the high school students that are having a difficult time returning them. It's mostly high schoolers.
Now, are they granted the opportunity to take them out, say, next year? Can we say you will not be allowed to take out equipment moving forward unless you return it?
But if we make it a part of the program, then the free and public education, if we mandate teleteaching, they need to teleteach. And that's the instrument they need. We have to give them.
So if they don't bring one back and they say, I don't have one, we have to give them another.
Well, that I think we can do something about. We've given you one, you signed out for one. I think in the hardship cases, it may be something to look at. You don't wanna, this is, COVID, they kept telling me, do no harm. Kept saying that, do no harm. Whenever I started to look at this from a punitive portion, I said, they didn't cause it. They just keep reminding me. So I keep going back to, our job is to educate. We have to do teleteaching. They need that instrument. We're gonna have to keep cajoling and trying to get them back. Shutting them down is our prerogative. I mean, it sounds harsh, but they're not using it for schooling.
Yeah.
It's
We
not-
have there are no classes going on right now at all, correct?
We just ended class, today was pretty much the last day.
Today was
Today,
17th.
So can we send a message, like a blast to all of them saying,
They
effective
pop up on the screen.
Saturday.
Yeah.
You're getting them before they move for the summer out of here. And so,
We are putting something together out there. I'll remind them that we want it back.
especially
Again,
if we
it's
have
just starting.
500.
We've got some more time. We're optimistic that we'll get it back.
Not to mention, it's not a perfect scenario. So many times in the resolutions, we get technology computers that are going to be thrown away because they're not any good. Well, with all the Chromebooks that have been sent out to the students, I've got to say, there's got to be some damaged
Oh, yes.
Chromebooks out there that maybe not repairable.
Right,
So that's another consequence of
that's true.
So we had estimated the loss rate would be about a third.
Very high.
Well, it is, but some are damaged, some didn't. We can give you a listing of the numbers, of how many we've got back, and where we are with this. We're just starting on it. Again, a lot of the parents have brought them back, especially the elementary has been really good at it.
Are the principals tied to the ownership of making
Oh,
sure
yeah,
they get
yeah,
back?
they're there. They don't want to pick them up, but they're
They're
there.
door knocking.
They're door knocking. Yes, they want them back.
So that brings up another point. If they haven't used the Chromebooks, how do you assess the success of
Right.
passing the courses? I mean, I'm sure the teachers are calling or doing whatever has to be done. But that's another issue.
So it's based on participation. So like this year, we based it on if they participated. So if they participated, we wrote on the report card, they participated. If they didn't participate, these teachers wrote on the report card, not yet learned. Again, like Dr. Pulicello says, no harm done due to COVID-19, so we don't want to punish the kids because everybody has a different home life situation, but that's.
Like I said before, we're in the embryo stage of this. We're just starting to walk teleteaching. We're going to get better. We may have to get better sooner, depending what September brings. Colleges have been better at this for a lot longer. Graduate level, all my grandchildren have, I said my granddaughter doesn't know where Stony Brook is. She thinks it's a park. Just kidding, but that's gonna happen. What's gonna happen in September? If this keeps up, teleteaching's gonna get better, and we're gonna get better. We've made quantum leap. You saw what Christina Farino sent out to you about where we made improvements, where we got a long way to go. Well, this is about equipment, and some of our students don't have the equipment. We've given out about 10 hotspots that they can use.
And when we get closer to open school, the superintendent will tell us what the strategies are going to be.
So, Mr. Nolan, who's probably out there now, spent 4 hours today with a statewide task force. They selected him as the representative. Superintendent Roberti, how are you?
Good, how are we doing?
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, nice to be here.
Just stay back a little bit.
I'm staying back, right?
Okay, great.
Hey, John Scott?
There's a
There's a
difference,
spot.
there's a difference to finish
Hey.
early on a course.
None of that.
There's a difference,
John,
All right.
he lost the spot.
You snooze, you lose.
There's a difference to finishing up learning virtually than there is beginning to learn something virtually. And it's going to be a lot bigger challenge if we have to start the year virtually than we had finishing up the year. Particularly since we have to start, you've got to figure out how far behind those kids are and what they're learning before you start learning. You're going to have students who have no concept of a particular subject matter that they're now taking for the first time. and having a lot more individual work having to be done than what a teacher is able to do virtually. That's gonna be a lot bigger challenge than what we just went through. And that's how we started.
Some teachers were talking about when we begin next fall. Let's use the scenario that next fall, everything is fine, we're all able to go back to school. Using that scenario, much of the instructional time will be done reviewing and reworking and reteaching things that was taught during this downtime. So Gavin, you're absolutely right. That's tremendous challenges for us.
Okay, anything else before we move on?
Thank you, Susan.
Christina's not here, so we're gonna move down to the Board of Education.
No, I'm here.
She's on.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So just a few quick highlights. I know many of you, or probably all of you, heard the governor's announcement on June 5th about allowing in-person summer programming for special education students. So obviously, you know, that was different than his earlier announcement in May and caused us all to engage in, you know, high-level discussions, not only within our building and within our district, but certainly with BoCES and other area school districts, with the Department of Health, with our attorney. And in the end, obviously, we've made the decision to continue remote learning. We know the population that we work with certainly does best with that in-person instruction, but keeping in mind the health and safety of our students and our staff is certainly critical. And at this time, we really were not able to do that to meet the health and safety needs of our students and staff. So all parents were involved in that, were made aware early on, were kept abreast, and then certainly when that decision was made, all case managers, all the teachers involved reached out to those parents as well so that they were aware of that as well. We have all but 5 students participating in ESY this summer. We met today with the staff. I met today with the teachers and the therapists, and that will look a little bit different than it has obviously the last few months. We know that those students who participate in ESY certainly require a higher level of engagement, a higher level of instruction. So that will be a bit more individualized and allow for some more increased instruction, direct instruction. So that will be a shift for some of our students this summer. Again, if any parents had questions or concerns, certainly we welcome that and we're happy to answer them. But right now we haven't received any. It was a difficult decision for sure. From 2 other notes, just quickly, part of what I do, I oversee the career development and occupational studies. So just some numbers on CDOS this year. Last year, we awarded 113. This year, we're awarding 120 CDOS certificates. So again, very positive. I think that we probably would have ended up closer to 140, 150, just ending early. We weren't able to capture more students. But that was very positive. So it's great to see that program grow. And then finally, I know when I started last August, one of the goals for me was to really look at out-of-district placements. As you know, we had a large number of students in out-of-district placements. I'm a huge advocate for obviously supporting students within our district in the least restrictive environment. I know we all support that. So as a department, we've worked to bring back many students for next year. So we actually, starting in September, we'll have decreased out-of-district placements by 23%. So that's a real positive for those students to be programmed within their district. I think that's it.
So the total number of students for ESY extended school year is about 60.
I'm sorry,
That you're talking about 60 students for the summer.
about 60, about 60.
10% special needs or identified students. You've got about 650, you've got about 60 or 10% who will be involved in this virtual program for ESY this summer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Board of Education committees on audit. Curtis, would you like to move
So-
with the board?
We did, we had a board meeting, I'm sorry, we had a committee meeting last week, yes.
Sorry, Nancy Rad is not.
Nancy?
Oh, I don't have Nancy.
I think she's gonna speak for.
Should have been on their mic.
Nancy's out.
Yeah.
Nancy?
Nancy, you there?
No, she's at that mental health.
Yeah, that's me. I'm here. Yeah, I just wanted to touch base with you and let you know about our meal program, how it's gone since March 18th. Up until today, we have dispersed 112,916 meals to children in our community.
That's awesome.
This could not have been done without a million people. We're so thankful, Brown Transportation, Abbey Group, and our teacher aides, lunch monitors, hall monitors, and teachers who stepped up to help distribute all the meals. Our school program will end the school year program will end June 29th, and then July 6th, the summer program will kick in. And at that point, we'll be using our own in-district school buses, and we'll be using Montgomery County employees to come and distribute the meals for us. We want to work with our community partners, and Sarah Barenko has volunteered their services, so we appreciate that. But we have had over 150 various staff members that participated up until now. And then we have our weekend meal program that is just everything we do is 100% donations from people in the community. We have 140 families that we give meals to for the weekend. It's just been tremendous with the support from Zonta, Rotary, Head Start, Regional Food Bank, Beech Nut, Union College, and I can go on and on. There's just so many amazing people. And this will continue again through the summer, and it will be all volunteers that will be coming in and helping with that. I do want to also tell you a couple other fun things. I don't know if Dr. Colucciello shared with you, but registration is going to have a little different look due to COVID-19. It's forced us to reassess procedures, and part of registration will now have McKinney-Vento liaison, which is me, will be housed together down in district office so that when people come in to register, and they have to have appointments, but we're not doing that yet because they can't come in the buildings yet. But when that starts again, they have to set appointments to come in to register, and then I will be there to help out families because there's a lot more families who qualify under McKinney-Vento than they realize. And we want to let them know what resources that are available for them in the community and within the school district. So I'm excited to be moving my office down into the district office, and it'll be interesting. But I am keeping my current spot because we have a lot of high school students who are unaccompanied youth that fall under McKinney-Vento that come to meet with me periodically for personal hygiene items, school supplies, things that they don't want other people to see that they're getting. So keeping that space, thank goodness I can. And one other thing that just has come out of the COVID-19 and home virtual learning is that we've created a parent forum. And yes, the inception came because of this, but it's going to hopefully be ongoing. We have parents who are concerned about communication and that every building does something a little differently. So we had our first meeting was just to hear them out, and it was virtual. And then we realized, my God, look how many people attended. It's virtual. We can do this all the time now. So parents who can't come for a conference, they can do it virtually with the teacher. So there's just lots of good things as weird as that sounds, coming from this time, but there's a lot of things that will help improve how we work with families and service children. So I'm looking forward to continuing with the parent forum. And that's all.
I would agree with that, Nancy. I think I said it at my last meeting that we saw a big increase in parent participation at CSE meetings, and it definitely helped us rethink how we look at parent participation, how we can improve parent participation in meetings, and even for staff who have to move building to building to participate. It has definitely shifted some of our thinking on how we can increase that as well. So I'm glad to be a part of that forum.
Okay, thank you. All right, now, Board of Education Committee, Curtis, audit.
So last week, the audit committee met. Thank you, John, for showing up on video or on the phone.
Yep.
And we had Mr. Larry Mazur, our community member, who sits on the committee with us, along with Dr. Bush and me. And from the staff, we had Colleen and Dr. Colucciello and Eric Scholl. And basically what we did is, it was our annual time of year to move on bringing to the board the request for the Weston Company, who are our what we call the external auditors, to do their audit. And basically the good news about it is last year I think they charged us $19,500, and this year is, guess what, it didn't go up. So we moved, it was 100%, all of us approved to bring it to the board. And so tonight, Lori has put it in your package to get this signed off, and we'll be voting on it. And now we won't meet until probably around August, the end of August to September again, as we get ready for October's main. October is the main time when we turn everything in to the state, and crunch time for Pauline. That's all.
Mr. Pinnaker, did they say why it's gonna go up?
It did not go up, sir. It
Oh,
stayed the
but I
same.
heard you say
Yeah,
guess
no,
what, it's gonna go up.
no, it stayed the same.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
I missed it.
That's good.
And they are
All right,
coming to, they will be on staff on site next week for the first preliminary audit.
Right, the
23rd
23rd,
or
right?
24th,
Or
correct.
24th, okay.
Okay, moving on. Board policies in your packet tonight. We have policy second reading of 5676, which is privacy, security for student data, the teacher and principal data. And we also have policy number 7243, which has to do with student data breaches. These are both second readings. They are resolution 546 and 545. Visitation committee. I don't know who's visiting anywhere.
I was up last week, I met with Mr. O'Mealy at the high school. Very pleased at how hard the faculty have worked at distance learning with our high school students. He was confident our graduation rate is going to be up this year as a result of their hard work. I'd like to thank the staff for extending themselves as much as they had to in order to accommodate some of the situations that our high school students have gone through. I'm very supportive. He said, make sure I let the board know how appreciative he is of all the support the board has given him during his time here. He's happy to be here. He and his staff are working real hard.
They're going to have something on Friday night, then they're going to have the drive-through on Saturday.
Yep.
So what is is this a good time to ask that, or
Sure.
what is gonna happen on Saturday? Are you gonna stand out there with Mr.
One
O'Mealy?
person can be handing out diplomas, and only one.
So you won't be there?
Nobody but Mr. O'Mealy will be there.
Okay,
There has to only be one person, and they've got about a 4-hour time frame to get everybody in alphabetically. Come up, pull up, you get out, get your picture, get your diploma, you get back in your car, you toot your horn, and move out. And it'll probably take we expect the highest number in a long time, maybe up to 280 grads. So if you line it up, they think they can do it in 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours. Again,
Now, you have to recognize that the target number has always been 48 minutes for graduation and the graduation ceremony in high school. And
Well,
That was the.
yeah,
that was the best we ever had.
well, it's, if you're not tenure, you're not getting tenure if you're over an hour, so.
Okay, so, someone did check, because I believe it's raining next week. Has someone looked at, do we have a rain contingency going? Are we gonna put
Rain
him with
or
a
shine.
big tar, big,
Rain or shine.
big pop-up over him?
Or we
Or
might be, if you need something, but I think again, rain or shine. You're only gonna be out there for a few minutes except for a
No, I'm
meeting.
talking about the principal. I want him to come back again and again every year, okay?
They'll be back.
There will
They
be.
want to take photos.
I do know there's gonna be a stage, and we did rent, tents for on top of the stage. That just,
Yeah.
yes, just took care of that today.
Okay, thank you.
The teachers.
Found money in the budget.
But there will be no teachers on the stand, just
I
him.
understand.
Just him, one person. That's what it said.
There'll be a tent on the stage.
Okay.
We're trying to limit the potential of somebody infecting somebody else. With that
So
many people.
this decline exam
No one has requested. Let
no
them
one,
know.
not a single,
Not a single
not a
parent.
single parent.
Not a single parent, as of today.
Even the child going to Harvard has not asked for this.
No one has asked for it. We had to send out a letter, if you know, this is a declining exam. We sent out letters 2 weeks ago, and as of today, no parent has declined.
That takes your graduation rate up higher immediately.
Well,
Nobody else.
again, do no harm.
That's true. That's the downside, but who cares about them? It's about us.
Do no harm.
All right, I hear you.
Hey, so this will be a good year for graduates.
This will be a very good year.
Well, they went through a lot.
Yeah, they did.
Went through a lot, they lost a lot.
What do we have going on for Lynch? I was contacted by a parent today that was concerned that no time still had been issued for what was supposed to be a virtual ceremony for tomorrow.
That's what they were talking about, the timing.
We'll let them know, because I thought we did talk about it today, and we thought everyone knew.
I thought Liz said.
But she's saying tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
She said something.
Yeah,
You know the name of that?
the parent, yes.
If you give it to Sandra, we'll
Yeah.
make sure she gets it.
They're not having the ceremony tomorrow, are they?
It's
Virtual.
It's going to be released, I understand, tomorrow night. It was originally planned to be released on Friday. But I was told today that it would be released, and you'll find it, I'm assuming this is true, on the website, on our district website, on the link to that.
Records right. They had to put pieces of it together because it came from all different pieces that were.
The moving up ceremony is all virtual. It's already been put together. It was a wonderful, wonderful program. And I think for those who would see it, will be really pleased. Based on the inability to be there in person. The original date to have that available was Friday, but they're going to release it earlier on Thursday, tomorrow. I don't know what time it is, but I would just encourage people to keep an eye on our district website.
What are we going to see?
So
Moving up ceremony.
So,
I'm looking on our website.
yes, I am too.
It says a virtual moving up ceremony will be posted on this website on June 18th, which is tomorrow. And they have had some ceremonies. There was June 15th, 9 to 2, and then 6 to 7. June 16th, 9 to 2, and then June 17th, 9 to 2. So it's posted on the.
It is.
It is, yeah.
Who's that for? Is that for the middle school,
8th graders.
8th to 9th.
8th to 9th grade?
8th to
No,
9th.
8th grade.
Moving up.
Moving up from 8.
It's the 8th graders.
8th
Yeah.
into the 9th.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't have any invitation.
So I
Right,
think that's
that's a
where the
good question.
concern stems from, is that nothing has really been emphasized. You know, we've talked about the high school, but we haven't at all talked about Lynch.
Right.
I'll take responsibility. We can do some blasts tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We'll tell them Liz.
We'll do some blasts tomorrow
John
morning
Knowles.
to the middle. We have,
John
we'll
Knowles.
ask, Mrs. Hannon to send some blasts out to individuals tomorrow morning. But thank you for that.
I only know that because Colleen was working on that throughout the summer. So I can't remember. But you're right. Had I not known what she was doing, I would never would have known, even though my son would be moving up.
Yeah.
But
That's why none of us know
Yeah,
anything.
we will,
Right.
I'll take responsibility.
That's
That'll-
interesting.
That'll be tomorrow morning. You
what's
get
that?
I said, we don't have sons that are moving up, so we didn't know. Did you know?
No,
No.
But my point was,
Yeah.
even though I have a son moving up, I'm not sure I would have known that.
Yeah.
Could have happened.
The only reason I know it was because Colleen, not Miss Colleen, but
I know, I understand.
was working on it.
So this brings up a question, we've all attended every year the moving up ceremonies at the elementary schools. What, we didn't know, did you know?
But my point was, even though I have a son moving up, I'm not sure I would have known that.
I think Jeff was talking, but it's not coming in.
The only reason I know it was because Colleen, not Miss Colleen.
I know, I understand.
Was working on it.
So this brings up a question, we've all attended every year the moving up ceremonies at the elementary schools. What, we didn't know, did you?
There you
Who was
go.
that coming from?
John Household.
Okay,
It came from John Household's.
all right, we are now at the point where we can discuss resolutions. And, 519 is a consent resolution. Are there any resolutions that you'd like to discuss before we?
Can we do 552 separate and 560 separate?
I'd like to do 555 separate.
Now at the point where we can discuss resolutions.
555.
519 is a consent resolution. Are there any resolutions that you'd like to discuss before we?
552
Mike, it's on, you can move.
separate and 560.
I'd like to do 5.
I can hear.
I have 552, 560, 555, and 557. Wanting to be voted separately or after executive session?
Separately.
So,
Hey, which one are
No, I
these
have a
here?
question about it.
Which one, what number are these? What number are these? What number are these, Lori?
Yes.
separate votes would be done
Before.
executive session.
565.
565?
No.
Which one was that?
There's
557.
557, after executive session?
Yes.
Just hold it.
That's correct.
Okay, 565. What about the other?
They're all, this is all.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, I need to do these here.
That's right.
That one, that was. Okay, yep, 557, 557,
Yes.
after executive session. You have, 556 after executive session,
No. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that one too.
okay. And 558 after executive session. And what's that for? Oh. Be terminated, that's right. Okay, so let's hold off on 560 until after executive session. Where is?
Sandra? Yeah.
Okay, the resolutions that are going to be voted on after executive session. See it? What are they looking at?
Were there any being voted on separately?
Can we vote on separately? Are you recommending one, John?
No, I'm just trying to get straight what's after executive session and which ones are being voted separately.
We're gonna do that, we're
Okay.
gonna do that right
And
now.
number 559 after executive session, 559. You were right.
So if you've got 556 through 560 is after executive session?
No,
57, right?
560 is just separate.
560 is just separate?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Bennett, you said that.
Yeah, I wanted it that way.
560.
560,
Put it in that
okay.
group.
Yeah, that's 560,
Oh, 560,
just separate.
yeah, read the thing, you want to do it,
Just separate.
wait until afterwards, after the discussion. Look at what you did, have there.
Yeah, I know it's there.
Dr. Bush, could I request 554 for after executive session?
554.
You will add 555 too.
After executive?
Yeah, please.
That was separate also.
So far, I have 519 and 551, with a combination resolution. 552 to be voted separately. 553 and 554. 555 through 559 after executive session. 560 separately. 561 through 66. 567 was the proclamation already done. And then 568 through 570. 570 and 570 is going to be resolved that the Board of Education schedule a virtual special meeting for June 23, 2020 at 6 p.m. and the organizational meeting for July 1, 2020 at 6 p.m. to be held at the Amsterdam High School Media Center.
Again, it's amazing, Mr. Mysek, that you kept up with all those numbers things in there.
Lots of numbers.
Mr. Mysek, can you stand by 1 second?
You want to do 552 separately, Gavin?
Yes, please.
I may have missed one. 565, I had it marked, but I don't know if that was after executive session.
March and April.
So you're doing them, so you're doing both of them under one vote?
Right.
Okay,
Because it says March and April.
all right. And 522 separate.
As indicated, 522 separate. Combination would be other step for indicated plus 552 to be separate. 20, I'm sorry.
for note on that, it is for March and April.
And 596 is the request to go into executive session to discuss matters regarding the employment history of a particular person and discipline matters of a particular person.
Okay, could you just repeat the resolutions that are going to be discussed after executive session voted on?
555 through 559. And then 552, 522, and 560 separate.
So, Ms. Maschek, I asked for 554, that must be
554 for separate?
after executive.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay, is there any discussion on any of the resolutions prior to going into? Okay, so we're gonna do some of them separately, right? Yeah. Okay. 552.
Want to do the group
Yeah,
resolution
do the group
first?
first.
Have a sponsor for the group resolution?
I'm the
Okay, so this is the group resolution. Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Mr. Tata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
And sponsor for resolution 522? Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Mr. Tata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
No.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
So 552.
I
All
will.
right,
What do we do at 552?
552. Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Mr. Tata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
And 560?
Yeah.
Right, Joe? Sponsor for resolution 560.
I will with pleasure.
Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Mr. Tata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Louder again.
Okay. I think that's it. If I'm right, everything else is after executive.
That's right. Okay, so it is approximately 7:18, and we'll be going into executive session.
Mr. Battisti is going to need somebody's phone number to join you for executive session because we have to turn this off for, okay?
Can you want somebody's phone
Isn't
number?
isn't there a number on there?
Can
You
we just
can't
ask the
use-
people to
I can't, okay.
volume down?
No. You can call me.
I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn it
Okay,
off.
how many people do we have on?
6.
All right.
And I'm getting in how?
Does it have your
Okay.
phone number?
John, do you need someone to call into?
Yep,
You can call my number.
okay.
518-866-7766.
Okey doke.
Thank you.
Curtis, I was going to go.
Oh.
Finish at 9:05, Lori. 9:05.
Okay, Tom, we're on TV now. Okay. So smile really big.
You ready?
We're gonna start.
Eric,
with
is there any way to
5:54.
tell how many people are on?
Right now, we had about 5 watching.
5
When I left my office, yeah. So the number's going up and down right now. They see that, but we just came out of executive session, so they might start coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, one is voting separately.
Oh, yeah. So the first would be resolution 554. Could I have a sponsor?
I will.
Mr. Battisti?
John?
Ms. Datata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Resolution 555.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Ms. Datata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Dr. Bush, may I request that as we go through 556, 557, 558,
You want to put them all together?
that that we actually read what they are. You don't have to read the whole resolve, but to let the, I guess I didn't know we had public on, but we have 5 to 6 members of the public, and they don't even know what we're reading. They didn't know what 555 or 554 were even what we were voting on. So if we could,
Board docs, they do.
Board docs, they can access for the public.
okay, and if they didn't get into board docs, can we at least go over what we will be doing, 556, 557, 558, 559,
That's it.
and that's it.
Okay, the only one that had changes in it was 556.
There's no change in that.
Yes, that was the one with Dr. Wright with the 8 days or 6 days, at 600 per day.
Okay. Okay,
I'll
so
sponsor it.
you want me to read it?
Oh, wait,
first?
I'd like to sponsor that one.
I said it first.
Oh, you can't. You sponsored the last 2, Dr. Bush.
Hmm. No, I didn't. I didn't do the first one. I didn't do this.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, so Nellie, you're sponsored. All right, do you want me to read it before you vote?
Just the fact that it's for Dr. Colucciello, approval of contract for Dr. Colucciello for
Okay,
a period of 8 days at $600 per day. Through till July 31st, 2020.
okay. Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Ms. Datata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Resolution 557,
I'll sponsor.
which is for the contract for Michelle Downing, July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021.
And it's not to exceed $30,000, and
Well, that's that's.
that's not on,
I know.
it needs to be written in on the resolution. Nellie, how much we're paying the person?
Not necessarily, but
Aren't we
Who
gonna
wants
be
to sponsor
transparent?
I will.
Deanna's going to sponsor it.
Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Ms. Datata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Resolution 558.
I want to do Sandra. Oh, no, that's not. No, that's Christine, right?
I'll sponsor that one.
So, probationary appointment for Christine Smith. The salary will be $107,460 for 12 months effective July 1st, 2020.
It's 640, 107 to 640.
640.
Changed.
107, 640.
Mr. Battisti?
Yes.
Ms. Tata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
No.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Resolution 559.
I
And
will.
if- oh. I said it first. Now Gavin can do it. Go ahead, Gavin.
All right. Mr. Battisti?
Okay, what one is this for?
559.
And what is it entailing?
Sandals contract.
Sandra, Colleen, Eric, and Stasha.
Okay, so I move that we do a separate, oh, we don't have a separate vote, do we? That's
No.
interesting. That's crazy. Okay. All right,
Okay. Mr. Battisti?
that was a wise move, by the way, Ray.
I'm sorry, Mr. Battisti?
Yes, you are.
He said yes.
Ms. Tata?
Yes.
Mrs. Mancini?
Yes.
Reverend McCurd?
Yes.
Mr. Murdock?
Yes.
Mr. Penninger?
No.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Resolution 560, which is contract for Sandra Polakowski.
No, that was
We did
the,
that. That was part of it.
we already, that's the one.
Oh, we did that one.
Adjourned.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's it, right? 559 was the last one.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, yes.
Do we have somebody, resolution to
Adjourn.
adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it together.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, John, did you want to say anything else? We're done.
No, I just wanted to thank you for your phone.
Thanks for joining us,
You
John.
almost had, Kent was getting ready to give you his phone. And we have,
Well, that was-
no, I'm only down to 42%. You didn't use much energy, buddy.
Yeah, that was-
Yeah, you're not bad there.